What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. We're back in Wind Valley Park, the challenge park. I know you guys have been waiting for the next episode for quite some time, and I do want to explain a few things before we get in too far into the video, and that is these last few episodes, through episode 60, this is 58, episode 59, and 60 will be of me building this P&M Giga coaster. So, yes, everyone's been wanting it. Wind Valley Park is going to get a B&M Giga coaster, which is going to be huge. It's going to be 335 feet, so it's going to break the height record for a tallest Giga coaster in the world. Just because, you know, we have to break records, otherwise everyone will be upset like Orion, but, you know. But I wanted to talk about that this is going to be the last big attraction for Wind Valley Park, as we are going to be moving on from this park. Now, before you click away, that doesn't mean I'm ending the series. It just means that I'm ending this section of this park. So this is going to be kind of the grand finale of this park, because if you guys know what this whole series was about, it was about being a challenge park and actually, you know, like making money and having to worry about funds and stuff like that. And at this point in time, we have $1.8 million, and we haven't had to worry about money in, like, a very, very, very long time. So basically what I'm going to do is, like, once we get to episode 61, we are actually going to start a new challenge park. I'm going to create some new challenges, specifically for a new park, and we're going to kind of start from scratch and start on a new park. So as much as I love Wind Valley Park, I know you guys have too, it's time to finally, I think, move on to bigger and better things, or maybe like smaller things actually, because we're going to be moving on to something super small, because we're going to be starting from scratch again and creating an entirely new park from scratch, and go from there. So I hope it has the same magic as the first episodes of Wind Valley Park, and I hope you guys embrace it just as much as you have in this series. So that's the thing, is that I know a lot of my newer subscribers have been with me because of this series to begin with, so it makes me not want to end the series, but I'm starting to run out of ideas and start running out of space to build things in this park, and this is the last space I really kind of have left to build in, was this area. And you know, a lot of people wanted me to build a B&M Giga, so this is going to be a three-parter for this attraction alone. And this episode we do work a little bit on the layout and get started a little bit on custom supporting with the drop and lift hill, so that's actually pretty exciting. But so yeah, I want you guys to know that I know this series has been super important to you guys, and it's the reason why a lot of you may have found my channel to begin with, because episode 1 is like almost to 80,000 views right now, which is absolutely insane. That the early episodes of this series have gotten so many views, and even newer episodes today still get well over 1,000 views. So that's pretty awesome. But I think I want to start with a breath of fresh air and actually start over with the series, kind of. It's going to have the same continuation, so basically once we get to episode 61, it's going to be basically episode 1 of the new park. So just keep that in mind, that we are basically still continuing the series, and basically it will be in the same universe, I guess you could say, because this is going to be Wind Valley Park, and basically the new park will probably be kind of like a sister location, I guess you could say, kind of a new sister park that is brand new. So I think it's actually kind of exciting to start on a new park and kind of start from the beginning once again, and having to worry about money again. So I think that'll actually be kind of fun, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section of what you think would be the best approach to a new park and everything, and what I should do with the challenge. Should I make it like harder mode or anything? Because obviously I think I started this one on medium difficulty, which ended up being a little bit too easy. So I think we're gonna up the ante in the next park and actually make it a really big challenge, and I think that's going to be the big draw point for the next challenge is to actually make it very challenging and seeing how far we can go with it. So I think that's going to be the basis of the next one. I think a lot of people comment on that I didn't did you know, I was on too easy of settings, which I kind of agree with after playing through this. But this park has been incredible. After we do complete this Giga coaster, it will be going on the workshop. So I know a lot of you have always been wanting me to put this coaster on the, or put this entire park on the workshop, and I know you guys have been demanding that ever since I've started the series, basically. But I wanted to wait until it's kind of hit its completion, and I think that it kind of has now. So that's actually pretty cool. So at the end of this series, we had basically gone through 60 years of this park, which is absolutely insane to think about, that this park has been going on for 60 in-game years, which is actually pretty crazy. So that's not to say I'm not saying we'll ever not come back to Wind Valley Park, but I think for now it's best to kind of, you know, have a nice conclusion. I've already gotten pretty much everything added that I wanted to. If I was to do anything next, I would have to start removing more rides and everything, and I don't really want to do that. I think it'd be a lot more fun just to kind of start from scratch again and start on something new. So after all that taken out of the way, let's actually explain a little bit what's going on screen, and that is building this insane B&M Giga coaster. It took me a few tries to get it right, but actually the first hill was a little bit too intense, and was actually a little bit, you know, probably had too many G-forces, so I had to make it taller and sprawl it out a little bit, and I had to figure out exactly how I was going to turn this around too, because I didn't want to have too many left-hand turns going in, because it actually, the layout just started with nothing but left-hand turns. And another thing with this park is it's actually pretty difficult to build in now, because it just takes up, or my frame rate isn't what it used to be. It's still playable, but it's actually a lot more difficult. I think once you start to get quite a few coasters in, the game starts to lag out more, and I think more so with coasters and rides actually lag the game out more so than like scenery and stuff, because I actually, you know, don't think that there's that much scenery in this. It's mostly just coasters, because I think this is our 11th roller coaster in the game, which is quite a bit actually, and I think that's the thing that actually lags out the game more, is actually building more and more coasters, and that's the main part that actually does this, or does the lagging and frame rate dropping, so is just all of that. So yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's still kind of, like I said, it's still playable, and I'm lucky to have a really great PC with really good specs, so I can actually kind of build stuff like this. So just be aware, if you guys do download this park, it is going to probably lag out your PC. Unless you have a really high-end PC, it's going to lag it out. And not to mention, I do have like 8,000 to 9,000 guests in the park already, so just keep that in mind as well. You might want to close it. I could load it up with it closed, maybe, like if I make a save file with no guest in the park. That way, if you're trying to just kind of explore the park, we might, you know, it might help with your frame rates just a little bit. But yeah, I've done everything I wanted to in this park, and I think the last big thing was just have the biggest attraction for the park as a nice send-off, and I thought a B&M Giga would be just that. You know, we have a B&M Hyper already, but I had to go one up that and make a 300-foot tall coaster, and it's actually 335 is the official statistic on how tall this coaster is. One of you guys during the live stream actually came up with a really good idea for the name of this ride, and I think we're going to call it Supernova, because it is going to be a part of the space section theme. I think a Giga Coaster really does have that space theming, and you guys might notice it might give you a little bit of Orion vibes with this color scheme. I'm going with a blue, nice blue track with black supports, because I think obviously that matches the theme the best when it comes to like the coloring of the ride and everything. I don't have like a great blue color coaster besides Liberty Spin. Liberty Spin was blue, but I think this really does pop, and I really like the blue coming off of the track. So I think I'm going to keep it that way. Yes, it does probably resemble too much of Orion, and I almost actually went with gray supports, which would have just been Orion at that point. But so I settled for black supports. I haven't actually recolored the trains yet, as of right now, but that's all right. But we do complete the layout here, and I think after this we just go through and quickly smooth the track out quite a bit. I might actually still, even after this episode, we still might make some adjustments to some parts in the ride, but the first drop and everything and the lift hill is what we kind of focus on today after the layout, and actually get some of the get some of those custom supports, and I actually do a custom B&M spine and everything. So the ride actually did turn out very, very smooth, which is pretty good for the ride method the smoothing method that I do use. It's a lot easier on B&M like Gigas and Hypers. You don't really have to do like a 4-meter method for rides like these, in my opinion, because the layout is so sprawled out, and the at least a layout kind of like this, you can even see, like, even fast forward, that it does look very gloss smooth through a lot of these elements and everything. I can't wait till we get custom supports in there. It's gonna look fantastic, and it's gonna look great in the skyline too, as well. So but it turned out really, really good. I'm very satisfied with how it turned out. I haven't made a B&M Giga in quite some time, actually, and they're actually really hard to sometimes get right when it comes to like the shaping of the first drop and everything, and this is probably the best shaped B&M Giga drop I've done. And since the drop is so big, you have to really it does kind of take some extra tries to try and get that down. So anyways, I wanted to make sure I got excuse me, a bigger spine for the lift hill, just to add that extra realism. So there is some good Theme Maker's Toolkit items that you can use to kind of help with this, and that would be one of these. So it has connectors, it has everything you kind of need for a custom Giga B&M spine. And then I also had to download a few Giga supports for the actual lift hill and drop. Because we didn't have any, I guess. I thought I did, but apparently I did not have any, so, but that's alright. We actually ended up getting our own here, and after trying to figure out which support structure to use, but after a while, this does take a minute or a couple of minutes, quite a few minutes to get all this down, because I wanted to make sure that it looked good, and mainly just the top part here where we have to round out the spine up here and actually get it in the proper position. And it actually turned out really good in the end when we do finish up here. And I had to worry about some of the I think we had an autosave at one point that was pretty bad, and actually when I saved the park after this, I may have went overboard with the with the spark a little bit, because after trying to manually save, the game just did not. It took probably a good 10 minutes to get out of the game after trying to save, because the manual save took that long to try and finish up, which is just absolutely insane. Yeah, that's one thing. If, like, here's one of the autosaves right here, actually. You can see how long, and we're at 800 speed right now, so this is 8 times. And you can see that's a pretty long time, actually, waiting on an autosave. But you can see that I hope Planet Coaster 2 does have better B&M spines, because you can see, like, the lift hill is a different thickness. That's actually what the normal track should look like, in my opinion. So if you look at the lift hill for the Hyper model, which is what we use for the Giga as well, you can see that the spine is considerably thicker than the regular spine. The regular spine is way too small, and you can see that, the box spine behind the rails and stuff. It's actually crazy small compared to a real B&M. And you can see the lift hill, no, you can't see anymore, but you can see that the lift hill actually has a thicker spine. That's where I think the normal track should be, I think, if you ask me. And maybe they'll have, like, better options for, like, the Giga Coaster to have like these thicker spines. And you kind of seen it in some of their later coaster models that they had optional spines, and hopefully that would be something that we can have. So like there can be a super thick B&M spine, like 3 different levels maybe, like this of thickness. So you can have this one, a medium one, and then maybe a thin one. I hope that's something that maybe they can do on a lot of the different coasters. And like I said, towards the end of Planet Coaster's life, when they were still updating it, a lot of the newer coaster models had a lot more options when it came to like the different types of spines and different track types and everything like that. And they had different options for that. They had different options for catwalks. And I wish they would have kind of updated what we currently had a little bit more, and that would have been very, very nice, I think, if they would have included a lot more of that stuff. But unfortunately they didn't. But that's something we'll have to live with. So until the meantime, we have to do stuff like this using the Maker's Toolkit items. But it works for now, I suppose. But you can just see how massive this drop is and how massive this coaster is. And trying to get to the... this is the point with trying to figure out my... coaster supports, because I didn't have a thick enough pieces for this the support structure, and it took me a little bit to kind of figure out, but I finally had one of you, which was actually Jake, Coaster Creations. Thank you so much for linking me the pieces I needed from the Theme Maker's Toolkit. There's actually some good B&M Giga supports and connectors on there that I was able to use. You'll see here in just a few moments that I actually subscribed to those real quick, and we had a much better result in the end, which was nice, because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do here, and I had different options here, and it was going okay at first. And this was like one of the thickest spines I could find, and I was just like, yeah, that's still way too thin. Because after adding the custom spine and the Theme Maker's Toolkit, it makes it to where you basically have to find some larger support structures, because everything else, it makes everything look too thin. And I looked at that one, and I was like, no, that's too small too. So what the heck do I do? And then that's when Jake came to the rescue, and I was going to use some art shapes, because they do have thicker cylinder pieces, which is pretty nice. But then after slowly getting into it, I don't even think I finished. That's when I got the subscribed to a new piece that was a lot thicker for us, and it actually did work out quite well. And I got the connector piece as well, which is a very nice piece, actually. I wish you could have more than one color, but it did work. It did do what it was supposed to do, and that is connect perfectly with our spine here to give us the thickness of that we needed. And of course, the supports that came with it are actually really, really good. It has a large support and a small support as well, so we'll probably use them for the rest of the build, and once we get to that point. But in this episode, we basically just do these first 2 supports on the lift hill and on the first drop, just to kind of give us a head start going into the next episode, which is mostly going to be just us doing custom supports and everything, because that's going to take us a hot minute to do some of those. So anyways, I didn't do a whole lot here, but we did do enough to kind of get us started, I think, for this episode. And I think it's actually looking really, really nice overall in the end so far. And I can't wait to finish out this this entire project, and I can't wait to get that, because next episode will be episode 59, which hopefully we'll get all of the custom supports done, and then episode 60 will work on like station, queue line, and all that extra stuff, the path elements, and just finishing up scenery. That's going to be kind of my plan right now, but that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe for more amazing content like this, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day, and you'll cool tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, and goodbye.